what's the talk about mostly outside of this subject matter there at the Combine?
Well,
at the owners' meeting.
In terms of the actual agenda at the owners' meeting, this is one of the lightest I think we've ever seen.
Oh, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what everyone else is talking about. Right. What do you got for me? What do you think?
Normally you've got some ongoing things that are going to get resolved. But we're not to the point of any decisions on the Dolphins, not to the point of any decisions on Deshaun Watson. Those two situations are going to generate a ton of conversation. I think that in all the head coaches and GMs that I have spoken to this week, I think that the prevailing question is just what's next. Like, what are you hearing is the next thing that's going to happen?
Yes.
Because people bring up wild situations right now. I mean, I had one GM just tell me, it's the Wild West right now. Everybody thinks everybody is available because we're seeing trades unlike anything that we've ever seen before. And so teams are getting calls on star players. There are certainly teams that have been in the mix and missed out, for instance, on the wide receivers, who you would anticipate are still going to be active here leading up to and even after the draft. You've obviously got the Baker Mayfield situation, which at this point is dormant. That may take a while. Jimmy Garoppolo, the headline yesterday was John Lynch saying they're not releasing Jimmy Garoppolo, which, why would they release a guy with a non-guaranteed salary who's shown when he's healthy he's a pretty good quarterback in the NFL just because they haven't gotten the offer that they want for him right now. So that may take a while, especially after, with the shoulder surgery. He's not going to be cleared until close to the start of training camp. But I would say that's the number one thing is just what's next. And even, as much this year, because we still could get action here, Rich, in the coming weeks, but, next year, what's it going to be? What are these star wide receivers going to want? The way that you have right now star players who are exacting their leverage and their power over situations more than they ever have before and utilizing different means than they have before. I mean, players' greatest leverage was for a long time not showing up. It was withholding your services, not coming to training camp. Well, the 2020 CBA made it so punitive that we see a lot less of that, but players are figuring out other ways to do it and making noise in the offseason or things that might seem silly like deleting Instagram posts. It has an effect because we live in this echo chamber and you live in an environment right now where the trades that when you hear about them, they almost seem too dumb to check on. They're not too dumb to check on now. Like Rappaport and I talk about that all the time. Like you check on everything. You can hear the stupidest thing ever, but you have to make a call because, who would think going into this offseason, Tyreek Hill's going to be traded to Miami and Devontae Adams is going to be traded to the Raiders within a 1 week span. And we'll deal with Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan. Nothing big, nothing major. We've never seen anything like this before. And so that's going to have a ripple effect. And, as much as the Rams went all in last year and won the Super Bowl and everybody wants to point to that, you've got how many, 7, 8, 9 teams that made a massive trade in this offseason? It's not going to work out for everybody. And so teams are going to be analyzing how these situations play out. And certainly there are plenty of players and agents, particularly at the wide receiver position, to see where the numbers are going. And can't wait to have their opportunity to try to pull up the same thing.
In the category of it's no longer too dumb to check on, Brady being traded to the Dolphins, did that even get a phone call for you to check on that crazy rumor that's been everywhere, trending on Twitter, all of that? Tom?
We check on it. We check on everything, Rich. We check on everything. Again, Mike McDaniel had to answer it. Called it fake news. It would seem implausible at this point, in part because Tom Brady, from even before he made the announcement on his unretirement, was lobbying some of his teammates to come back and calling people within the league. He's a A-plus recruiter, and he was doing that to Tampa. It would seem surprising at this stage to think suddenly now he's going to go out the back door and end up in Miami. I would also say at some point you would certainly anticipate that they have to address Tom Brady's contract because he's got, I want to say it's a placeholder year for about $10.5 million that he's on this year. That was never intended to be played on. The idea was keep adding a year to his contract, give him a lump sum this year like they did last year when he made $40+ million. I would certainly think that's what's next for Tom Brady, but Rich, you do check on everything.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.